Hi everybody, this is Diane. I'm working on the Jackie Hightree Woodlands junk journal right now. I've been prepping for 3 different Woodlands journals. I just took a drink of water before I turned this video camera on. But I don't know. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm working on 3 Woodlands journals, and I have done hours of prep work so far. And I have pages selected for all of the journals, and I've been working on ephemera. I did a video showing how I colored the tracing paper with alcohol ink, and today I'm going to show you what I'm doing with that. We're going to do something with it. And I have also spent hours fussy cutting and organizing, so I have this little box. And I have images from children's books and digitals that I have fussy cut and put in here. And more fussy cuts in here, some stickers in here. So I just have things kind of organized. And there's some long things in that one. So, oh, my little vintage Eureka and Denison animal stickers are in there, so I hope to use some of those. I know that I won't be using a lot of what I have. I don't know why I snapped that shut. I might want it. But I have things prepped for and ready for when I do want to use them. I also have been making fabric flips and some fabric clusters. The ones on top are the narrower ones, since I'm working on the littler journal first, so I can go through these when I need a flip for that journal. So I've got a pretty big stack of fabric flips and enough clusters to put one in each signature of all 3 journals. So without any further ado, let's just get into what we're doing here. This is what I made with the tracing paper that I colored with alcohol inks. I cut a window into that page, and I cut a piece of the tracing paper out that's just a little bit bigger than the window and glued it on to the back side, and then I sewed around it with messy stitching. Added a little element cut from a book and some die cuts. And then to give you a little journaling space on this page, I added this journaling spot that I had stamped onto coffee dyed paper. So let's do that first in the other signatures. Oh, by the way, these are the dies that I used. I used the scalloped one, and these are from Stampin' Up. I think, yeah, they're by Sizzix, but they're made for Stampin' Up. I have the ovals and the circles, and they come in lots of sizes. So I used the scalloped one to cut out the hole, and then I took this one and traced around it, made sure it would fit, and it's just a little bit bigger than the hole, so that's what I needed. So I traced around that on the tracing paper and then cut that out. So I did that again here, and I already glued it on so that it would be dry and I'd be able to sew it. And I do have some scallop circle or ovals left over from punching out the holes, so I'll be able to use those for something. I just knocked my glue over, and I want to put the pin back in it because it fell out. Okay, so this is glued in. I just used this with the fine tip and glued it around, put the glue around the edge of the tracing paper, and then just laid it down there. And now I'm just going to do some messy stitching around there. I have some brown thread in my machine. I'm going to set it to just a straight stitch and a little bit larger than average length because it's paper and I don't want to perforate it too much. And go. I just kind of wiggle my paper around. It would be too hard to sew an oval perfectly. So so I just make it messy stitching and purposely wiggle it around. And I go around it twice because I think when you do messy stitching that looks more purposeful. Okay, now I have this little image I want to glue on. This is Bambi and looking at a butterfly, but it looks kind of funny like that. So I really want to do some fussy cutting around here and then cut the butterfly out and glue it up onto the tracing paper. I like the black and white images for this just because it's up against the color, and I just like the contrast. And I did something very similar in the Woodlands journals I did, I think it was 3 years ago. And I got that idea from Jibid Neri, the tracing paper window. I don't remember that she did this with the images around it. She has some very creative and imaginative ideas for her journals. I haven't seen one of her videos in a long time. I'll have to go check her out and see what she's been up to lately. But she's very inspirational. She does a lot of natural looking journals. Somebody's messaging me or liking things in my Etsy shop. Those are Etsy's notification sounds that you're hearing. That's I think that's a sound I chose for my Etsy notifications. Okay, now let's not lose that little butterfly. Sorry, I'm gonna turn the sound off my phone. Okay, sorry about that. So there's this tiny little butterfly that we don't want to lose. I didn't ink around the squirrel. The squirrel is more white than this. It came out of a different book. But I didn't want to ink around it because I didn't want it to blend into the background. And I like the way it looks. So if I glue that butterfly up there, we can see that Bambi is looking at the butterfly. I put the butterfly in the lighter part of the inking there so it shows up very well. Oops. I always do that. Drop it right upside down. I have about 45 minutes to work on this before I have to get ready to go. I'm going to go to my sister's house and we're going to go to our favorite chicken restaurant, Curly's Chicken House, for my birthday. My birthday's tomorrow, but by the time you see this video, my birthday will probably be past. And we did it for both of my other sisters' birthdays, and now it's my turn. Now, oh yes, I probably should not have glued him down yet. Because I need to do the foliage around the edge. I'm not going to pull that part up, so it's just going to, maybe I just won't put any on that side. I'll just put it on like that. So the top one goes first because the top one is on the bottom, if that makes sense. Okay, sorry. I'm fussing with my glue cap. We're having some hot days here. Probably not as hot as some parts of the country, but my daughter is in Florida, and I asked her how the weather was because we are having heat advisories here, and she said it's hot, but not as hot as we are, which is, you know, Florida's usually hotter than Pennsylvania, but not right now. But I'm staying comfortable because I'm staying inside for most of the time, and I have air conditioning. And I will be going to my sister's, but I have air conditioning in my car too. Don't drop it upside down. Okay, Bambi, I can glue your head back down. Now I'm going to look for a stamped label I can put up there. I've got to stamp some more labels on coffee dyed paper and cut them out. I like just having them handy to glue on things, and I'm running low. I have a lot of different label stamps like these types of things, different shapes, different sizes. There's that one. And while I have this here, I might as well do what I'm going to do on the back. So I just have a piece of cardstock, patterned cardstock I'm going to make a pocket out of. And this came out of a book, and it's got little squirrels on it. I'm using quite a few squirrel images in this little journal, but I don't want it to be a squirrel themed book. It's a Woodlands book, so it will have other types of woodland creatures, but I wanted to scatter a few squirrels around it also. I'm just going to ink the edges of this cardstock. And sometimes I just want to put a tab on here for just a decorative effect. Of course, the tab isn't going to do anything, but sometimes the whale tail tab punch tabs are too big. And I just wanted something little, so I have a bunch of dies. Let me show you my handful of tabs that I just punched or cut out. I have dies that are all different tabs. They all came in a set, and I don't know the brand. I don't have them in the packaging. I got it years and years ago. And I just used some scraps of cardstock that would go with my Woodlands colors and cut out a bunch of tabs. So the leftovers will go in my little basket of tabs that I have cut out and ready. And another added decorative element will be, instead of gluing this on, I'm going to sew it. And I'm just going to use a straight stitch. And now I'm going to sew the pocket. Oh, first, I'm going to sew this to the pocket. Whoop. Didn't mean to push that button right then, but I guess it was okay. I was ready enough. Sometimes it's better to have the foot pedal, because I can release that and turn it on just when I want to. And for this one, yeah, I did a zigzag stitch to sew on the tab and to sew on. This is a piece of fabric that I used. But I'm just using straight stitch for all of it here. I don't have my air conditioning on right now. It came on this morning and it was already cool enough in the house that I didn't need it, so I turned it off. And now I'm sweating. I always get warm in this craft room. Should have turned it on before I started the video, but too late now. Okay, so now I have that, and I'll just have to come up with something to put in there. For this one, this came out of that artist's book. This is a painting. And I'll just trim off the white and add something to the back that can be journaled on. I want to talk about this. For this book. I already have this traced and cut out. So I did want to do this part with you. I'm just going to glue this down. This is the part where the alcohol ink was applied. It's shinier than this side. So that is going to be facing out. So I'm going to put the glue on that side. And it looks pretty dark right now, but it will have this paper behind it. And I have this little chipmunk. Well, I didn't want to use the green pieces for this because it's on green. And I do have some choices. I could use, let me see what I have in here. I could probably use mushroom stickers. I think these pine cones are too big. But I could use, things like that, but they might look funny just going around the thing, around the oval. He's sitting by some mushrooms though, so that might be cute sitting there. But I was thinking I could use some lace. I also have leaves that I could use. An acorn. That's a pretty toadstool. Oh, I like that. Don't want to close in the window too much. Maybe just that. Yes, I like that. I was going to try out some lace because in my other ones that I did, I put a little bit of lace right up here, and that looked really pretty. But I think I'm going to go with this, and I'll have to ink those pieces. I'm going to use this tab on the pocket on the back, so I might as well ink that too while we have stuff out. I'm just going to lightly rub the ink over this, and it will take care of all of those. They're not white, but they're off-white or ecru, and these are the pieces from those fussy cuts that I got from Eclectic Eggplant. I talked about them in a recent video. I got several sets of her fussy cuts, and this one was autumn fussy cuts. And I think I'll just do a little bit on this chipmunk. That means it's 10 o'clock and I want to leave here at 11, and I have to pull myself together before I go. Do something with my hair, put a little makeup on. That looks really cute. So now I have all 3 windows done for this journal. A squirrel, a chipmunk, and a deer with a butterfly. You know what? I didn't sew around this. Well, I can sew around it on the outside, but the inside, well, it's dark. Maybe you won't notice that this part didn't get sewn around. Oops. These things happen. Okay, let's go back to this one and do the pocket for it. I'm just going to ink that edge because it's a dark paper, but it's white where it got cut right at the top there. So might as well do them all. And I will sew this tab on. It's going to go on this side. I think I'll use the zigzag this time. Got knocked a little crooked, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it. And my sewing wasn't straight either because I was trying to hold that tab in place. I'm going to ink up that brown or the white on the edge of this where I cut. And I'll just glue this piece on. This was cut from a children's book. One of those beautiful vintage images. Today's children's book illustrations are gorgeous, but there's just something about the vintage ones that strikes a chord with me, maybe because I'm vintage. And I can sew around this because I'm not going to be sewing where the glue is. Oops, hit a button by mistake. Put it back to where I need it. Okay, maybe I'm sewing a little bit where the glue is. Hopefully it's dry at the edge. That's adorable. So I have some other things going on in these. Fabric flip. That one has a mushroom on it, so I want something different. You see, I used those fabric leaves that I got at a garage sale for some of these flips. I'll put the deer on this one. I did add little patches on these, so I already sewed them down for some of them. I mean, I added patches on some of them, but I didn't sew the lace at the top because I can do that when I sew it to the page. This is a vintage lace here. I did all the stenciling on the white pages for all 3 journals. This this is a postcard that I made a digital of, and I cut it down to make a pocket and added this craft cardstock piece that I had cut with my die cut machine. And I'm going to do something with this image and this tag. I'll do a little collaging on that to tuck in there. But let's make a pocket for this signature. I thought I had, oh, this one I already had picked out. So we'll do this one. Not that it matters which signature it goes in. So this is just a Mrs. Coggs card. I'm going to ink around it. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to grab my scissors because I didn't do that, so I can cut that. I have my little ones, but I want my long blade ones. It's just at the other end of the table, but I had my little rollaway cart in my way. So I'll just set that where I want it and know where I need to trim. I don't want a whole lot sticking out. Wait, I'm going to put it on this side. But just for something different and decorative, I thought I would add that. And trim off what I don't need. I guess that's all I need to do. Okay, now ink that part. And I'll just sew that on. Shouldn't move that over because I need to sew this on now. Do I want to sew across there? Because I'm not going to sew that part down. It's only going to be sewn here and here. But then that'll be the only side that doesn't have stitching. Maybe I'll just do some pretty stitching here to differentiate it. I don't remember my leaf stitch, what number it is, and I lost the card. It's probably in my instruction book. Let me just see if this is it. No, it is not. I think maybe it's 58. Whatever that is, it's just tearing the paper up. No, 58. Okay. Yep, that's it. With this machine, when I do the decorative stitches, I can't adjust the sizes. I can't adjust anything. So I just have to take what they give me as far as size goes. thought the leaf stitch was appropriate for a Woodlands journal. So I'll have to put a card in there, but what else do we have going on here? I have these envelopes that I'm going to put in the center, and I picked out some Mrs. Coggs cards that I can put on the back, but I want to do a little collage. There's a squirrel and a, looks like a red squirrel and a gray squirrel and a rabbit. Looks like they're arguing and he's watching. I have these text pages from the John Burroughs America and a field guide here. The John Burroughs America is the book with the chipmunk that I'm going to make a Woodlands journal out of. Has a chipmunk on the front. But I thought these text pages might work for some collage on the backs of these envelopes. And I don't know what I'll use, so I don't have enough time to actually figure that collage out in this video. But that's what I plan on doing there. So I guess all I have to do, I'm going to do some stamping on some of the pages, but I want to sew a cluster onto that page. Okay, it's this page. That's not all I have to do, but that's all I've done in the first signature so far. So I'm just kind of catching these two signatures up with that one. Sew a leaf onto it, and I just did stitching all the way down the page. I think I'll do another line of stitching. I wanted to leave threads, but I keep forgetting and clipping them short. So I'm going to try to start leaving threads. I just love that deer. I remembered to leave them long. There. So that's a start on these signatures for this journal. I'm going to put the green one in the center. They're two different gold colors, but I want them separated by the green. So that's how they'll go. It's a good start. Now I'm going to go get ready to go celebrate my birthday with my sisters. Thank you all for watching. I'm really enjoying these Woodlands journals. I love the colors because fall is my favorite color. Fall is my favorite color. Fall is my favorite season, and I just love the colors of fall. So this is a great project for me to work on. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you come back to see what's next. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.